Can anyone hear me? Oh, somebody like So I know it's somebody on beings though. Who is that? Yeah. Hey, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Highly favored. I'm thankful. I'm blessed, man. I am truly blessed. Can you hear me? Because I did put my little earpiece in at the last minute. Can you hear me? Neon 165, can you hear me? Shoot. Hey, can you hear me? Because it's showing one person on, which I'm assuming that's you. So I can, start talking. I just want to know if you can hear me because I put my earpiece in at the last minute after I turned on my live. So let me know if you can hear me. Scroll down to the button, your comments. I don't know how to do that. Scroll down. But can you hear me talking to you? Let me know if you can hear me talking to you. Can you hear me talking to you? Can you hear me talking to you? Neon 165. Can somebody hear me? I just want to know if somebody can hear me. Thank you. Thank you. And it's showing me nobody on, but I'm like, okay, people commenting. Hey, Nick Herbert. Hi. It's showing me nobody is on. Can somebody like just to let me know? Nick, can you like? Can you like? Oh, hi from Germany. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. Get ready to hit the gym. See, they so ghetto and they ain't even showing me. They not even showing me nobody. They not even showing me let me tell y'all something. Whoever is in control of the higher powers to be, they are not letting my channel be great. And which I noticed that years ago, like my time being silent and just away from social media. And again, I had no plans of coming back. And what happened was every time I go on my algorithms, it would show it was one. I got like 3 Drake videos, and not the one that just took off after the Drake and the other rapper beef. I forget his name, but that just took off out of nowhere. But it was one in particular video. It had like it was at 140 views for years. All of them did though. All of them did. But every time I went on my algorithms, it was showing, it was going up. It would show like 2 people watched today. I go back on, it'll show like 6 people watched today. But it was stuck on 140 views. So I knew off top that, okay, let me tell y'all something. This, we can say our YouTube, our Twitter, or X, our Instagram. This stuff does not belong to us. It does not. And even the other day when the whole United States of America, a lot of different people phones went out. Do y'all think that just instant that just that wasn't, that was planned? That didn't just accidentally happen. That was planned. The government is showing y'all, like I told y'all, they are in control, and it's past the presidents. It's past Trump and who we elect in the White House. It's way past that, and I told y'all so many times. And this coming from me, I wouldn't have never thought I would believe my one of my brother's best friends. His name is Juan Lee, when he said that, you know, just imagine, like, I remember we was one of the first ones. Well, my house was one of the first people that had like the really big flat screen TVs, and he condemned me for it. He was like, "Are you crazy? What are you doing?" Listen, guys, this was like 2000. This was like when, like, you can get a flat screen TV for a couple hundreds, but at the time I paid like 2,500 for that television, and it was a flat screen. You know, it's something new, and it was very expensive. And he like condemned me for it. Like, you really brought this? Like, do you understand? And it wasn't even a smartphone. It wasn't even a smart television. It was just a regular flat screen TV that, you know, you hung up on a wall, and you know, he was like, "Are you crazy? The government, they can see through this TV. They can see through this flat screen TV. They can they put cameras in this flat screen TV." And he would never be around it. Like, if he come over, if my brother hanging over my house and he come over, he would always duck down. I mean, this guy, I mean, I never thought I would agree with him. I mean, it used to be some days where I used to be like, "Look, Wanley, look, roll up out." You know, because he used to just talk so crazy. And today, the you know, what we seeing is really happening. Like, they really turned off the phone services. Like, they did it for smartness. They did it for, like, and it's so funny because uh when I called, I'm with Verizon, and when I called Verizon, they said, "Oh, we're not the only ones. It's everybody, you know, all the phone companies turned off." I said, "But, you know, one of my brothers are on my plan, and," well, I just said, "My brother's on my plan, and his is still on." They said it's just some out, some on. And she said, "If hands on in a few minutes, hands gonna go out." That's what we hear when people call in. And she sure enough was right. Mine's went out, his came on, hands went. And she said it was I said, "What's going on?" She said, "It's the towers. The towers you know, just went out." Let me tell y'all something. The government is really playing in our faces, and the way this world is going, I really, and me personally, I think I said this on uh one of my earlier lives, when I said, I think, I remember when the pandemic was here, and everybody, I mean, it was just like a shift in the world. Felt like everybody was going, just getting there, like taking care of their inner, starting to see therapy. I remember, you know, if y'all don't know, if y'all followed me on Twitter, one of my number one favorite comedian at the time, I don't know when the last time I watched the stand up, but my favorite comedian, I used to tweet about him all the time and tweet my top 5 comedians. I'm one of those girls who can sit in the house and watch stand up all day and be content. Was Eddie, not Eddie Murphy, my goodness, he not even on my list. Chris Rock. And I remember he made it. He came out and said, you know, he was seeing therapy, and he dealt with childhood trauma. I mean, we see Everybody Hates Chris, and we looking at Everybody Hates Chris, and he always would say this was his real life. But, you know, what was trauma to him, it was laughter to us. So, but yeah, he dealt with real life trauma. And I remember around during the pandemic, he was talking about how you know, that was a big deal, and he had to see, and I was shocked too. I'm like, well, wow. But, and I remember giving him a shout out, saying, you know, I applaud him for coming out saying, you know, he's seeking therapy. But what I'm saying is, around that time, it seemed like the world just stood still, and everybody was working out. I mean, you know, people was getting their body together, their mind, physically, mentally, emotionally. Everybody was, getting close with God. And I mean, sadly enough, I'm here in the real world. It was a lot of people that relapsed, that had drug use, did drugs in the past and relapsed, and did alcohol use and relapsed, because, nobody didn't understand any of it. But I think when all that was taking place and everybody got so woke, right, and was just realizing, like, there a lot of people eyes were opening. I think the government seeing, and I'm talking about the government over top of Trump, like over top of Trump, they saw that everybody was waking up, and everybody was like, realizing, like, wait a minute, like their eyes was really opening. And I think, and a lot of black people in the black community, people, even, Trump, when he was in a chair the first time, people, it was so many people opening up their own business, and, just becoming, just doing. It was a quiet time around a pandemic, but it was also needed. A lot of people woke up. A lot of people was, just, it's safe to say, me personally, I know people personally in real life that started a business, and, everything was just booming when Trump was in the chair the first time. And I know people today still got their businesses going on, and like, got into real estate and all this good stuff. But I think that the government saw that people was really waking up, and they just start, like, saying, okay, what's next? Like, what's next? Because, we can't fool them. Everybody know, like, what we was teaching them in elementary school and middle school and school period was a joke, wasn't real. It was with the teachers, it was what they was told to teach. And, everybody was just waking up. And I really believe that that's when the government said, they just didn't like it. They just didn't like it. And I really truly believe that outage was planned. They played in our faces. They showed us, this is what I can do at any given moment. And like I told y'all all the time, these movies are put in our face. It's put in our face for a reason. And I could remember when I was young, I used to be like, how can a writer just sit at his desk and come up with these movies, right? Come up with these, like, these movies that just, like, blows your mind. I told you about, with one of my favorite kid movies that I used to watch, me and my mother used to watch a lot. Firestarter, the one came out with Drew Barrymore. Yes, with Drew Barrymore. And I remember when I used to be like, who can think of that? That is true. I told y'all in so many of my lives, like, that is true. And what else blew my mind, guys, I was not one of those ones that was into the whole Stranger Things, right? I just recently found out the story behind it. Still, I didn't watch it, but the younger generation in my family was telling me about this movie. Blew my mind. I said, they really playing in our faces. And after I found out about, what was Stranger Things about, somebody sent me the real studio, or the place where that stuff actually took place. Somebody did it on TikTok, and it's something that actually took place like that when they was studying these kids and stuff. Y'all, the government is wicked. Leave the World Behind. They remember when they in the movie Leave the World Behind, something that Michelle Obama and Barack, his, Michelle Obama girlfriend, his Michelle Obama wife, Barack Obama, you know, they produced, right? And, now I understand why he was just so lenient to, the LGBTQ. He just letting his head down, right? Well, she just letting her head down, Barack Obama. But when you guys know that they produced that movie, and I remember when I first watched the movie, because everybody was talking about it, it blew my mind, like, okay. And remember when in Leave the World Behind, they had the first thing happened was the phones went out, Remember, guys, the phones went out. I'm like, that y'all gotta pay attention. Y'all thinking these just movies. They're not. They are not. Like I told y'all, God be just really, when I be quiet and being quiet and just, man, God be just telling me stuff. Like I told y'all about the movie, and my phone may go dead, y'all. I did bring my charger, but it got to be connected once I get into the gym. But once I told y'all about the movie, no, it just was, y'all, it was just on my mind, just on my mind. Nothing I never thought about. Nothing. I mean, I remember it came out. It was, coming out. Of course I didn't watch it, but just when I came to y'all, I'm like, y'all gotta really understand the world we living in has changed so much. And I always talk about, y'all know, I always like going back to the old days and how it used to be. Those were times that I'm glad I experienced. I wouldn't know. I mean, I guess I would be immune sort of, because I was going to say how I would feel if I was in my 20s and coming up, and this phone, the social media era, and really nothing to do unless you go out of town. Like my daughter, she gotta go out of town to have fun. And it's like back in the day, and not only just for Baltimore, but for wherever you lived, it was things to do, it was places to go, it was places to meet up. Like, and I'm so glad that I experienced that. I'm so glad, because I feel so bad for the children today. It's like they just got to go elsewhere to on. And like I said, it's safe to say, I think that's for anywhere. It's like everything is just so bland now. And I mean, it's just so unfortunate. I'm gonna keep, like, I talked to one of my relatives that and she was just like, well, she my aunt, and she was just telling me that how she stay, keep going. She constantly just remember the old days and how we used to have so much fun when everybody was here, and everybody was healthy and thriving, and that's what keep her going. She talk about the old days. Me and my brother was just talking about how he was just like, man, my favorite brother, the chocolate one like me, he was just saying, man, I could remember those days, man. Even the junkies was doing good. I'm like, I know. He said now it's like everywhere you look, everybody just so sad and down. And man, those was the days. And I'm just so thankful that I lived, just lived and had fun, and just, had a good time. I'm just so thankful, and even with what's going on with me now. And guys, when I come back, it's like, if I'm going all in. If I gotta, I've been talking to my therapist, no, my brother keep calling me, because when I was calling him, he wouldn't answer. This my one of my daughter favorite uncle. When I was calling him, he wouldn't answer. Now he's calling me. So yeah, um, you know, I am going to, and they're here. If God is my witness, they're here. I'm looking at them right now. They just shined a bright old light on me. Um, and I'm sure they're on social media now. They just shined the light on me. If God is my witness, God, I'm not lying, and I don't play about you, or play, on your name. But, um, and like I said, I don't even have to record this. I have so much footage. Y'all got to understand. I told y'all for 5 years ago. But if I have to die alone up on that hill, I'm going to tell my story, and I'm going to go all out telling my story, because the world needs to know why this has happened to me. I don't know. And I used to always say how good of a life I had, right? And and I used to look at people, and they would tell me the things they going through. I'm like, oh man, and of course I would help them if I could, and things like that. But like I told y'all, I never had no type of uh bumps in the road in my life. Once I jumped off the porch, as I always say. And when I say jumped off the porch, guys, I forget, my therapist said, well, what is jumped off the porch? When I say, and if my phone go dead, y'all, it's just it is on low. I'm drinking my little carrot juice. Um, when I say jumped off the porch, I'm not talking about for the people who don't understand black culture and the black slangs. It's just that we jumped off. We left. We was in the streets, hanging out, having fun, doing what we wanted to do early. I could remember at 13 years old, I was doing anything. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. This is where my nails started at first. When I first got them, and no, they probably was smaller than this. And when I went on live and y'all saw my red nails, they grew out. I'm like, y'all know I'm not that girl, but thank you. Um, but yeah, so when I say jumped off the porch, me and we didn't have to answer to nobody. I could remember I used to tell my cousin, look, my brother's gonna get me in a club, come over my house for the weekend, and their mother they had to ask their mother, and well, my aunts, they had to beg their aunts to, like, please, ma, can I go and stay the night? We was young, and they used to just wonder why because they was always, it's not like my aunts didn't want them over. It's just that they always was over. Like, they would just literally leave my house and then want to come back. And they had to, like, for me, I didn't have to do that. Like, I just would be up and gone. And I think once my mother left that crazy man that abused us and, did us so wrong, she started working, and she started doing her, and before then she was just on social service and getting a check, and she, after she left him, she started spreading her wings and doing her thing, and we was just on our own, and then by then my two oldest brothers, two of my oldest brothers moved back with us, and it was just like, we just was like doing us. So that's all that was. We wasn't in no gang. For the record, none of my brothers ever was in a gang. I told y'all this before. None of it, because I know when I looked up, I said, if she don't know what it is, let me see, and I looked it up, and it said joining a gang. We never was in a gang. Me personally, I never sold drugs. I was just that only girl that got anything I wanted. And then my mother, once she started working, she felt like, I guess a guilt thing for just being around while we was getting treated so wrong. And she started just giving me like anything I wanted, and just like, it was crazy. So that's what I mean when I say jump off the porch. We was doing our own thing at such an early age, 13, 14. Like, and looking back, I was a baby, but in that moment, I was grown. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was a grown woman. You heard me. But to the ones, that don't understand, black culture, jumped off the porch mean we just ain't have nobody to answer to. So that's what that mean. Again, none of my brothers was in a gang, because that's what it said. You join gang culture. When I looked it up, no, let me tell you, my brothers, they their own soldiers. They their own men. If somebody even would have came to them asking them, do they want to join a gang, I think they would have got knocked out. That's just how my brothers never. They was always their own army. What they say, they their what they I'm my own. I'm a one-man army. That's what my nephews say. None of my nephews was in a gang. Like, we don't come from that life, I'm my own. My little nephews say I'm my own. I'm a one-man army, So for the record, and y'all already know my nephews. They're really good kids. But yeah, guys. So that's what I just wanted to talk to y'all about. My phone is on 5%. I gotta get in here and work out. I did have a trainer, y'all. After like 4 days, that trainer was too expensive, but I have been, coming to the gym and even working out in my home. I will come because when I come back, guys, and I'm not trying to come back to show y'all, look, I'm little, because guys, I lost weight. I lost a great amount of weight. A lot of people see it in my face. A lot of people see it in my shoulders, but I'm not skinny, of course. I'm still eating, once a day. But when I eat once a day, it's very, a good healthy meal, and I just, you guys will see. So I'm not staying away because I want to just show y'all. It's just that when I come back, I just want to be so focused. And like I said, if I got to die up on that hill where I go out with being the craziest person in the world, I'm just going to have to. But I'm going to tell my story. And if you believe it, you believe it. I have proof. I have proof of these. I have pictures of these not human looking people. It's crazy, guys. And I always say, I always tell y'all, if I tell y'all with my eyes see, y'all would think I'm crazy, but I do have some of it and on captured on my phone. And but yeah, guys, so that's what I just want to be mentally ready for this, so yeah, I probably come back next week. Of course, I've been fasting and things like that, but yeah, guys, the world we live in, like I always say, just stay prayed up. Stay prayed up. I'm good. I'm blessed. Like I said, even with all this chaos around me, I I'm blessed. I'm getting ready to go next month. I'm planning on going to what's that? That's Destiny. What's that? Destiny Steakhouse. What's that? The tenderism guy. Oh my goodness, I gotta go. I gotta go. So me and my daughter and my nephew and his girlfriend. Let me tell you, when we went to Philly for the Broadway show, my nephew girlfriend had so much fun. Right? She said, "Everywhere your aunt go, I want to go." So we going there next month. Look, everybody look. That's all I want for. That's all I wanted. I want to go to that steakhouse place in California, get me some of those that meat be falling off the bone, and I'm a happy girl. I all that I did that. I did that back in the 90s. So yeah, that's what I look forward to. But yeah, I'm gonna come to y'all soon, probably next week sometime. But once I go in, I'm going in. I don't care. I don't care of the outcome. People can say I'm crazy. I'm gonna show y'all what I have and my footage that I have. And